Hi guys, it's Emily from Neville Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my August wrap up part 2. Now I'm filming on the 1st of August, so yes, you've had my August book haul already. So this is going to be the surprise. Do you think I got my unread TBR down, considering that I bought so many books in August? We're not counting the fact that this is the 1st of August and I may have already bought like 12 books, but we're not going to count that because that's going on September and I'm going to see if I can read loads. Because I did. I read loads in August. Star ratings haven't been quite the way I wanted, but the quality of the good books are amazing. And I did read loads. But I think I'm getting, I think I'm going to be a bit sort of sensible. I think I'm going to take care of what I read, but I do not want to ramble. I think I'm just getting a bit sort of tighter on my 5 stars now. I think that's something I really have noticed this month. Because there have been a few books that could have kind of in the past reached 5. And there is 2 4.5 stars that I've rated in the second half of the month. So there have been books that have been close. But the level of my top books just flew all the other books this month away. So like, yeah. I will link my wrap up part 1, where I talked about one book that was just blew my mind. And then I will tell you about the other books. So if you want to skip past a couple of minutes, this is the stats bit at the start of the month. Okay? So, I read 34 frigging books this month. Yes! Admittedly, I've had a bad chronic pain month this month. So, and we've also had the holiday. The holiday was at the end of... I don't know whether it's been the fact that I've not really been doing as much. I've been out in the garden reading. I've picked books that I could just fly through. I don't know what it was, but I read 34. 33 were off my unread TBR, because Yours Cheerfully was a reread. I gained 35 books this month. That was from my book haul, and I got gifted some. But this is what's really affected the numbers, is that I unhauled 6 books off my unread TBR. If I hadn't have done that, my unread TBR would have gone up. No question. That is the big thing. If I hadn't have unhauled 6, I would have been up. But by what level? So, my August unread TBR was 327 books. My September unread TBR is 323. So, like I said, if I hadn't have unhauled, I would have gone up. My unread TBR would have gone up. But I unhauled. But these unhauls, I had one official DNF, but a few books that I started and within like 10, 20 pages, I was like, no, not in the mood, not right for me. And they just shifted off my TBR. So I was really strict with myself. And I think that's going forward something I'm listening to the lovely Jem from Gemma Books and a lot of my Waffle girls. If you don't like a book, don't waste your time on it. The one that surprised me, and I'll straight away tell you my DNF, was Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. Audiobook, it was one of my favourite books. Physically, it had no punctuation and I could not flipping bear it. I was like, I can't read this. I cannot cope with no punctuation. No speech marks I can just about get away with. No punctuation at all. Not for me. Please guys, warn me if there's no punctuation on books. So now's for the genre bit. I read one classic. That was a children's classic. That was a success. One mystery. That was a flop. 2 fantasies. Amazing. I need to get back into my fantasies. They've both been amazing. 3 non-fiction. One is unrated. One was top of the range, and the other one was I think I rated 2 unrated. Not sure. No, I'd only rated 1 unrated. The other one was quite good. Anyway, I read, but this is like, again, these 2 genres are so neck and neck. Historical fiction, I had 13, and I read 14 contemporary. With the way my headspace has been, I think I've binged contemporary at the end of the month because my pain's been bad. But again, those levels are really even, and that just tells you they are my 2 favourite genres, and they are the 2 genres I go to no matter what mood I'm in. And that's why I've got more of each of them. I need to actually... What do you guys think? Should I do a video counting my historical fiction versus contemporary? That's a great video idea. I'm going to do that. I've messed up my hair now. That's a good video idea. Count on the numbers. Let's see the rivalries. Let's do rivalries. I might see if I can do maybe a rivalries of different books. See how I do. Let's have a look. That might be quite a fun idea. So now to the numbers of the star ratings. I had one DNF. That was Girl with Nothing. Although there was a few that I did, but I didn't write them down as unread. I just unhauled them because I didn't even blow and put them on my Goodreads. One unrated, which I'll show you soon. 5 3 stars, 2 3.5 stars, 13 4 stars. So yet again, 4 stars has been my go-to. 4 4.5 stars, 8 5 stars. Again, my 5 stars seem to be going down progressively each month. But that's not because they're bad books. It's just I'm getting tougher on rating them because I also know I keep my 5 stars. I don't keep anything that's not 5 stars. So I have to be very aware of which ones I want to keep on my shelves and which ones. I think for me, a 5 star is one I will reread. And my 2, although I think the fantasy one that's a sneaky peek, yeah, there's a fantasy that's 4.5 stars. And I think I'm going to keep that because I think Mia might want to read that. I've got 3 kids up there stairs today, so bear with me the noise. So this is the stat bit. Let's get down to talking about my books. I don't want this to be a long video because I've got so much to do today and I was supposed to have a rest day. Yeah, this is fun. But let's talk. So my unrated book was A Nun Story by Sister Agatha. I'm not sure if Mum's going to want to read this or not, so I don't think she would actually. And this is literally about a nun story. I bought it in a charity shop ages ago. It's all right. It's about Catholicism, which I don't know very much about. Average kind of book. But I don't think it was my place to rate it because it is a story. It's a memoir and it is by a nun, and I don't think it's my place to rate it. So let's just go into the charity shop. Now the book I picked up in Woking when I went shopping, I think it was last year. And I had high hope. This was a cheaper book that I bought in a charity shop, and this was 3 stars. It's my first of my 3 stars. A 3-star book. It was all right to read. Not really remembered much about it. About a young war widow. She steps on aboard a train in search of a new life, clutching the key to a mysterious inheritance. Vanessa Kingscourt arrives at an old Farron theatre, an enchanted place steeped in memories of her actor father. Now owned by a troubled former captain, Alastair Reddenhall, the Farron is in need of a wardrobe mistress. It was all right, and the fact that the mystery element where this lady goes and finds her absent father who sort of disappeared when she was little, that part was interesting. There was a sort of romance element that was okay. It was just okay. It wasn't anything that blew my mind. I'm not necessarily going to pick up another book by this author. It was all right. Did it blow my mind? No. A book that disappointed me, but again, I don't know if this is just my headspace. I know Katie from Books and Things has loved The Doll Factory by Elizabeth McNeil. For me, it was too dark, too twisted. And it wasn't really about the Doll Factory. It was more about obsession, compulsion. It was very gothic, very, very dark, very, very icky at points. And there's a dog that gets killed. I'm not telling you who, but I didn't like that. I don't like pets being killed. And yeah. It's set in London in 1850. Everyone knows about the Doll Factory. But there's like an artist, and it's Louis Frost. And then there's this really baddie guy, and Silas Reed, I can show it to you. Silas Reed's a bit of a weirdo, and then there's Iris and Silas's obsession with Iris, and it's just, yeah, bit too dark, bit too icky. I'm not going to rush it. Jem, you will love it, but not for me at all. Then the next book, if you do not want the triggers, do not. When I put this book down, if you don't want to know the triggers in this book, when I put this book down, you can safely come back to the video. But press mute on this while I'm talking about it, while this book is up, because I will tell you the triggers. Because those of you that want to know, I think it is safe to say you need to know. Right, so I started this book thinking, Sunshine at Wildflower Cottage, summer looking book. It's set in a animal retreat. I thought, summary book, great. No. The triggers are, there is a lot of domestic violence. It is a lot about, why can I never remember the names? There's a character in this that literally goes through starts an abusive relationship. and they are really manipulated, and really it starts off the way you can see the way this character, it's not one of our lead, it's not our lead character, but it's their mother, and she goes into this and you can see the triggers, you can see what's going to happen. He starts off with emotionally, starts off manipulating her, trying to change her, and then it gets darker and darker and darker, and there is a lot of domestic violence, there's rape, there is talks of other, oh my god, it was just too many triggers on that front for me, and I found it ridiculously hard. The actual bit at Wildflower Cottage with the animals and the animal sanctuary and the lead character Viv, that was great, but the domestic violence side in it and the manipulation, and it was just too graphic for me. Geraldine, who runs the Wildflower Cottage, again, she's really nice, liked her, that was really nice. And you got Viv's mother, she's the one that you have to really watch out, and it just triggered me way too much, and I found that hard. So it was 3 stars because it was just, I think you should have had some idea about the trigger warnings for this, because it looked like a summary happy book, and it was just, it killed me. My mum is not going to want to read this. No. Bye-bye. So, another 2 4 stars. Now, these are the 3.5 stars. And this first one is the readers of Broken Wheel recommend. I'm thinking about it, it probably is just a 3 stars, to be honest. And it's a translated fiction, so I could have read, so I think I listened to it for a Women in Translation. Not that I really did it for that reason, I just kind of picked it off my shelf. It was one I bought at a charity shop again a while ago. It was alright, nothing spectacular. I like the bookshop element. I think that was why I basically upped it by half a star, because of the bookshop element, the letters in it, the mention of books that we love. I think that part just kind of drew me in. And it's about Sarah, who never left Sweden, but at the age of 28 she decides it's time. She cashes in her savings, packs a suitcase full of books and sets off to the Broken Wheel in Iowa, a town where she knows nobody. Community element in this is really good. The Broken Wheel bookshop is really good. It is a good book, it's quite good. It's 3.5 stars, but it's quite good. I might like that. No, she wouldn't. Right, now to my other 3.5 star. This was the book that I finished no, actually, the next book will be the finish. I kind of was going to finish the month on this, and I had time for another book. But this is Expectation by Anna Hope. And again, this has triggers. If you don't want to know the triggers, when I put this book down, you can come back. Triggers. There are triggers for miscarriage, infertility, and miscarriage and infertility are only 2 real triggers, but there are triggers also. I think for me it was very much like, and there was, and the cheating bloody trope. I friggin' hate the cheating trope. I cannot stand it. Yes, I get passionate, I can't stand it. It was pissing me off, and the way that some of the people in this, it kind of glamorised it to a certain extent. It did, but then what it got it to, from 3 stars to 3.5 stars, was the ending, which tied everything together amazingly. It taught us that lessons can be learnt from our mistakes. It also talks about postnatal depression, and that was done actually very well. I will say that was very, very well done, and I think for me, who had postnatal depression twice, that was handled amazingly. This is a good book. I wouldn't say that, even though it's about 3 best friends, the friendship element isn't portrayed amazingly, because they don't really look after each other. But it's an alright book. I'm glad Charlie gave it to me, but I'm not keeping it. No sorry. Charity shops can have that, and they're going to love me, because it's Charlie gave it to me, my sister, and it's a signed copy. Signed copy, and I will show you the signed copy in a minute, but yeah, signed copy is nice. But I don't know, I'm not going to keep it. I think Charlie must have bought it full price, but she didn't like it enough to keep it. I'm not going to keep it. So those are the ones that are definitely going to the charity shop. Now to my books that are okay to really good. I'm already on 15 minutes, so I better hurry up. First one was my last book of the month, my only classic of the month. Mary Poppins Comes Back. What a way to finish the month. Yesterday, when I was filming this, my chronic pain was through the frigging roof, and I couldn't focus. I couldn't really read properly. So the girls from the Waffle group said, read what you want. So I decided to do children's classic. Sends me back to children. The only thing that I found harder is, in the books, Mary Poppins is looking after 5 kids, or 4 properly, because we've got Michael, and Jane, and then they've got their brothers, then they've got the twin siblings that she looks after, Barbara and John, and there is also an Annabelle, baby Annabelle. None of that's in the films, so that was kind of hard for me, but it is a good book. It's going back to Mary Poppins. It's got Mary Poppins magical realism. It's a fun, lovely, cosy book, and I'm going to go and put it straight back on my shelf because I don't even think Mum would like it, but cosy, light, fun read. The next one is The Letter by Catherine Hughes. I love The Help by Catherine Hughes. This is okay, but again, there are real triggers in this. I keep telling you the bloody triggers. I hope people aren't getting annoyed. If you don't want, can you guys let me know in the comments down below? Do you like the way I'm doing with the triggers, warning people, or shall I not? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know what you want me to do. Again, we've got domestic violence. We've got a lot of miscarriage, very late miscarriage. It's very, 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 very graphic. So Mum's not going to actually want this. This is about Tina Craig, who works all the hours she can and volunteers in a charity shop to avoid her unhappy home. Going through the pockets of a second-hand suit, she comes across an old letter and an envelope firmly sealed and unfranked. Tina opens it, and it's a decision that will alter the course of her life. Yeah, a lot of triggers in this. Very well written, very, very well written, but the triggers it made it very, very hard to read. I did read it in one day because even though there were the triggers, there was some sort of hope threaded in that kind of had me reading it. And the typesetting was quite big, so I could fly through it. And it's very, like, floppy and easy to read. But yeah, Mum's not going to read that. Then to a book I'm not sure if Mum's going to want, but I'll give it to Charlie. Because Charlie made me pick this up in an Oxfam, I think for my birthday month in March. And this is His Only Wife by Peace Adeo Mendy. Medi? I don't know how to say that, I'm sorry. And this is about the culture of Ghana. This is set as being in Ghana, and this is very much about culture, and very much about like men over there. They do have more than one wife sometimes, and the lady who starts this book, she wants to be this man's only wife. She wants to be the only thing that his life centres around. He's not keen on that idea, and she's also trying to get her independence and trying to get who she is. And I thought this was really well written. It was a good 4 stars, really enjoyable, it taught me a lot about different cultures, about Ghana, about different lifestyles. Quite interesting. Then to a book I read, again from Women in Translation, and one that I know that Kim from Middle of the Book March was having as her book of the month. I don't really do book clubs or anything like that, but this is Daughter of Fortune by Isabel Allende. And this was good. It wasn't amazing. Again, I'm not necessarily the target audience. Again, this is quite dark. I didn't feel like the ends tied together very well. We've got about Eliza, who is the engaging and independent heroine of this novel, and she's discovered on the doorstep of a British import and export company in Chile, and she was eagerly adopted by Miss Rose Summers, who keeps a house for her 2 brothers, who are a businessman and a sea captain. And although Rose is determined to turn Eliza into a very English lady, Eliza decides she wants her own course. And again, it is hard-hitting, it is emotional. I don't think Mum would actually like this, so no. But it's alright, it's just, I don't necessarily think I'm an Isabel Allende. I don't think I'm the right audience. Historical fiction's really not been my jam this month, even though I've read a lot of them. They've not really been my go-to. I don't think I've got any amazing historical fiction. Now, the next one was a contemporary I picked up. Again, one of the last books I wanted to read. And this is Under a Greek Moon. I've got a thing about reading about Greece. I think it's because I went to Corfu when I was younger. And it's still a place that if I could go back, I would. And I did enjoy this. It did start off slow, and I was like, I might have to DNF this. And then when it picked up pace, I got into it. And this is about A-list Shauna Jackson, who has seemingly the perfect life. And then she returns to an island that changed her life forever. She goes back to the Greek island of Ithos, and it's two timelines, and again about people escaping the past and how your past affects your future, and about things that define us. And it is really, really good. Really enjoyed it. Very good. She's got another book out apparently. This one was only out a couple of years ago, and she's got another book which is out, which is, I believe it. Yeah, she's got another book that's already out. It's called the Hotel on the Riviera, which is set again, I believe, in This is set in the French Riviera, so I think that came out this year, and I've seen that in the charity in the shop. So if that book comes out in the charity shops next year, I'll have that as a summer read, because this is quite a good summer read. I think Mum might like that. Then I picked up one of my books that was on my try chapter. Was this on my try chapter? It was just an Anne O'Brien book, another book that was on my shelves. And this is about the Neville family. And this was quite a fascinating historical fiction. This was 4 stars, but it was a good 4 stars, because it really does talk about Anne Neville and how, and she was the daughter of the Kingsmaker, the Warwick, and it's very much, that was actually quite, even though it was a massive book, it was actually really interesting. I learnt more about people that I didn't know about, and I found this one was quite a good Anne O'Brien. So Mum won't like it, but I think it was quite a good one. It's about Anne Neville and how the person she gets set to be with, she never does a deed with him, and she follows her heart, and that's about that side of the Wildflower family, and it's quite interesting. Now I think this one, no, one more 4 stars. And the next 4 stars is The Intimacy Project by Rosie Denan. And there was one of my booktubers that I was watching that said that they read this and The Roommate. The Roommate's the first book, which was very, very saucy, very, very thing. And I think it was Kirsten from Bookish Nymph. I think she was talking about it. I'll link her channel down below. And she was talking about the fact that she didn't enjoy this one as much as she enjoyed The Roommate. And I kind of agree. There wasn't as much sauce. So if you wanted a sexy book, kind of quite light, that was a lot of fun. And this is more about faith and about Buddhism and, not Buddhism, sorry, I really do need to get my right thingy. It is more about religion and, yeah, that, I think this is really good. Why can I not remember the religion? My brain is dead. It's about a rabbi, and the romance between, there's Naomi Grant, who was in The Roommate. She was very much, her character in The Roommate was very much for the bad girl sort of thing. But in this, it's her story, and I love the way it connects the characters from this to The Roommate. And you do have a lot about images and how our past shapes us. Again, a lot of bad elements. But this really does teach you some good lessons, and I think the depth of this book is a lot more. And there is a lot more about our past creating us, and about the images we create, and about relationships, and about being true to ourselves. And this has actually got quite a few good lessons in it. But it's not quite as good as The Roommate, in my opinion. It is a good book, but it's not amazeballs. But yeah, Mum's not going to like that one because there's too much sauce in that. Now to my 2 4.5 star books. Kids, I'm still filming! The first one is a book that Mum's going to have to read. I'm still filming, guys.
We'll be quiet.
There you go, can you hear Thomas alone? And this is The Beginner's Guide to Loneliness. This is again one of the penultimate books I read this month. And this is so much better. Thomas picked this book for me, and I am so grateful he picked this off my shelves, because it was just what I needed. This is basically the lead character in this is the sort of anonymous person who runs it's like an online blog, The Beginner's Guide to Loneliness. Thomas, I can hear you, sweetie, so please stop, go away. And if you, at the start of every chapter is like a lesson. So one of them, I've just randomly picked one, and this is: isolation can cause you to overthink. Each single step of the day is inspected by everything that might go wrong. Unlikely that mean you don't take steps to learn at all. Learn to go with the flow, one step at a time, and set yourself free. Thomas, sorry guys. No, don't be in here. You guys go away, please. And this really does talk about the Beginner's Guide to Loneliness. Again, we have some triggers in this, because it does talk about something that a bad experience that this person had when she goes to this retreat. But there are some funny elements in this. There are some funny bits where you really find yourself cracking up laughing, and some other stuff. But there is a lot more. It's a lot more depth. It's a lot more about lessons, about going offline, going away from all your comfort zones, and really focusing on dealing with your problems. I probably do need to go offline a bit more. I probably do need to spend a bit more time thinking about stuff and taking care. But there are a lot of good lessons in this. This is actually one I think I'm very tempted to keep, actually. So even though it's 4.5 stars, I'm thinking it might actually go up to 5. That's a bit of a shock, isn't it? I will lend this to Mum, but I think I'm going to keep this, because I think this might be a good reread. So yes, that's 4.5 stars, but actually I think looking at it, thinking about it, Charlie did this with a book. She was like, certain books she's had that she's loved, and they've gone up in her rankings when she's sort of gone away to think about it. And that one really has. Next one was a random one off my shelves. Let It Go. I wanted a quick fantasy to read for dinner day. I wanted a quick, short but sweet book. This is the retelling of Frozen, The Twisted Tale. And if you like Frozen, which Mia doesn't, Mia's like annoyed at me because she used to love it, but I watched it with her when she was little. And this was amazing. This was so much fun. I'm keeping it. It was a brilliant retelling. It was imagining that Elsa and Anna didn't grow up together. Their paths didn't cross, and they had very different upbringings, and how they kind of come back together. Bloody amazing, really good fun. Now it's my 5 stars, and I've got 4. I'm not going to guess you to get, because obviously you all know in the first half of the month that I'd rated an amazing book, and that was my Ali McNamara book, and that was this Silver Clouds and Silver Linings. Clouds and Silver Linings. That was Ali McNamara's book, which really spoke to me and made me felt seen. So that's gone on my favourites for the year. But 2 out of these 4 books are going on my favourites for the year as well. So God knows how my favourites for the year is going to go, because I've got the first month where I've had 3 that are going on that list, 3 that have blown me out of the water, and there are 2 out of these 4 that have literally blown me out of the water. The first one is, originally it was a buddy read with Little Lovely Ange from Angie's Book Chatter. But you can see I've got like little tabs in this. So I'm actually keeping this because I've got tabs in it, because there have been real quotes in this, and I'm going to see if I can see them. And this is Helston's Freddie, isn't it? Everyone read it years ago. I think I was one of the last people to read it. I think we've just got to get Alice to read it. And I read it with Ange. I think Ange had to stop reading it because her blooming ebook sort of played out. But there was just so much good. And it's just like, where's the phrase? There's a phrase in this that I really wanted. And it's like, there's Linus says something in this. Linus is the lead character in this, and he goes, "I'm just me, unsure of where that was going. I don't know how to be anyone but who I already am. And this is how I've always been. It's not much, but I do the best I can with what I have." That is an incredible storyline. Linus is going off to this island where people are very different, and they've got it's like magical, and they've got magical talents and magical bad things and stuff like that. And he goes off to see these kids, and these are kids that are in this orphanage, and he's going to sort of assess them and decide whether the orphanage is worth keeping or whatever else. And it's very magical. And the characters, like one of the characters is Lucifer, who's like supposed to be seen the son of the devil, and everyone thinks he's like literally spawn of Satan in a baddie. But when you go and find out more, it teaches you that people aren't just what they're labels. They're not who you think they're going to be. And I loved it. I thought this was just, it's best book of the year. And this next chapter and this next sort of thing, it's just, yeah, this is the phrase, and this is the saying in this that I really loved. Right, here we go. It can't. I refuse to believe that. We are who we are not because of our birthright, but because of what we choose to do with our life. It cannot be boiled down to black and white, not when there is so much more in between. You cannot say something is moral or immoral without understanding the nuances behind it. How true is that? That's so true. It's such a good book. I loved it. It is amazing. One of the best books ever. I can't recommend. This is fantasy. I've got Under a Whispering Door. I will read it. I want to pick up all of TJ Kling's books. This is incredible. This has started me off on a thing that I'm just going to go and read. I don't think Mum would like it. I don't know. I wish Charlie was here. She might tell me whether Mum might like it. The next one is a foster care book, and this is by Casey Watson. I read all the Kathy Glass foster care books. I Just Want to Be Loved. Again, there are triggers in this, but this is foster care book, so it's not, because it's to do with kids, I don't feel like it's my place. And this is, Casey has fostered her fair share of vulnerable adults, but 14-year-old Elise brings her own unique challenges. And brilliant book. I don't think Mum would like the triggers, but it is, I definitely want to pick up more Casey Watson. And this video is going to be ridiculously long. And next one is a book that Danny from Danny's Book World bought me for Christmas as my Christmas present. And this is The Island Home by Libby Page. This is her more recent book. I read The Lido, loved it. I wasn't 100% on the 24-hour cafe, but this again blew it out of the water. It was 5 stars. It was incredible. Lorna's world is safe, is small but safe. She loves her daughter, and the two of them are all that matters. But after nearly 20 years, her and Ella are suddenly leaving London for the Isle of Kip, the beautiful remote Scottish island where Lorna grew up. And then we've got Alice, who's the other storyline. And Alice's tiny world is tiny but full. She loves the community on Kip and how her yoga classes draw women across the island together. Now Lorna's arrival might help the family mend. There are some triggers in this, but it's dealt with so well. It's such a book about community, friendship, family, and what matters. And I thoroughly, thoroughly loved it. Now to one that Mum won't read, but I'm keeping because it's bloody gorgeous. And this is my birthday present from the lovely Gem from Gemma Books, Cat Lady by Donna Porter. OMG, again, there are triggers in this, but it's done so well. I laughed, I cried, I did not know what to do with myself. I sobbed at points, I laughed my head off at points. It is an amazing book. Charlie loved it. I am a cat lady. My cat means the world to me. I would do anything for her. If I didn't have her, I don't know what I'd do. I'm going to have a house full of cats. This copy is stunning because Jem got it for me. We've all known a cat lady. We've all probably judged her too. But behind the label, what if their story is worth 9 lives? Yeah, I'm way more than a cat lady. But this really does teach you so many amazing lessons. This is one of the best books. Charlie has described it probably better than me. But I loved Donna Porter's books. This was just amazing. I loved So Lucky. I don't know if I've read Cows or not, but I just love it. I love it, love it, love it. It's safer for Mia to play the part people expect. She's a good wife to her husband Tristan, a doting stepmother. She slips her suit on for work each day like a new skin. But beneath the surface, there is another woman clawing to get out. OMG. That is so like so many of us. It is just done amazing. Love this book. It's just, that is, yeah. If you hadn't guessed, that's going on my favourites for the year. That and The House in Cerulean Sea. 2 amazing books. 2 books that I would shout out to the rooftops. Please pick this up. It's now on paperback, but I love my hardback edition. So yeah, sorry for this very long video, guys. But I've read the books that I've read, yes, I've had less 5 stars this month, but the books that I have read have been amazing. So I really want to celebrate them. Let me know in the comments down below which have been your favourite books of the month. I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear. If you want to know more about any of the books that I have talked about the triggers, please again talk to me. Feel free to DM me. I will let you know. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. I need to get my stats a bit better. If you like this video and you're not subscribed to me and you want to subscribe, bring on my ding-a-ling. I want to get up there. I want to cry. Well, no, I'm not focusing on my numbers as much at the moment. But anyway, hope you all had a good August. Let's hope September's great. Kids are back at school next week. Or the day after this goes live, the kids are back at school. Yes! Freedom! Hope you enjoyed this.